consumerism. Welcome here, everyone. I am so excited to be at another Fearless Friday. It's one of my favorite days of the week because we have put all this effort into the week, and it's a day to just celebrate what we've all done, right? We've shown up and we've gone out there and done the things that we want to do in the world, and now we get to celebrate a little bit. So this is a moment of celebration just to say great job for everything that you've done this week. And honestly, I could not be celebrating with a better person. Terri Besworth is here with us today for Fearless Fridays. And honestly, Terri, you are easily one of my favorite people because you just exude this confidence and this can-do attitude, and I love it. So every time I'm around you, I feel that and it inspires me. And so I'm so glad that you are joining us today. But before we get to you, I will just say to everyone watching, welcome to Happy Healthy Women. For those of you who are new to Happy Healthy Women, we are an organization across Canada, and our mission is to create communities of women that show up in a real, raw, authentic way for one another, supporting one another, and just being with each other as we journey, whether that's in a personal relationship, whether that's in a business relationship, in whichever way that might suit your needs. We just want to be there for you. And I know being a part of Happy Healthy Women has changed my life and really given me the community that I've so long looked for. So if you are new to Happy Healthy Women and are going, what is this? What have I stumbled across? I encourage you to check it out. Come on down for sure. Absolutely. But today, Terri, we are going to talk about you. So you are the branch director for Coquitlam for Happy Healthy Women. You are also an independent consultant for Airbon, and you are the founder for There's Another Way. You do it all. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, and I'm a mom, and I'm
Oh,
just giving over the chair position at school, so that's off my plate. But I think, thanks. This is so lovely to spend the time with you, Meg, and thank you for saying those kind words. Sometimes you surround yourself with people who make you better and inspire you, and you are definitely one that we have different amazing, beautiful strengths. And Meg, I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed. So Meg is a South Surrey branch director. She didn't tell you that about ourselves. And I'm the Coquitlam branch director here. And what I love is that we're taking on BC together to really create this space for women to come together to be lifted and inspired. And so that is one of my hats that I have loved. And it's kind of what falls into this platform of There's Another Way, is because there's another way that you can network. I don't know about you, but I grew up in corporate, and corporate doesn't teach women to support each other and be each other's cheerleaders. Corporate teaches women to be that much more against each other because there's such few seats at the table. And so what I love about this is that there's another way to network and empower people. And that's why I choose to spend my time with Happy Healthy Women and people like Meg.
I
And
love
then,
that.
so yeah, I'm a wife and I'm a mom. And I became an entrepreneur after how many years? 17 plus years in the pharmaceutical industry. It's a hard jump
Huge change.
to be an entrepreneur. So if you feel me that way, please message me. But yeah, making that jump to be an entrepreneur, but actually I was a closet entrepreneur. I had all these great, amazing ideas, but I thought, well, that's not how you're supposed to be. And so when I
Yeah.
started my Arbonne business, little did I know that having an Arbonne business was going to be the catalyst for opening up all these new doors, like There's Another Way, my platform there, with thinking about your career. And there's another way to look at how you consume things in the world. There's another way to look at the ingredients you choose to be healthier. There's so many ways. And so I'm excited like that. That's kind of what's coming in the next year, is this launch of this whole platform.
You know what? Honestly, I just isn't it amazing? Your introduction just makes my mind go, whoa.
Which is
Just
perfect,
love
right?
that.
That's good.
Yeah, because you are so right. And I find that this is something that it's so pervasive in our culture that we are handed down this idea of this is what it looks like, right? To be in
Yeah.
business, to be a consumer, to, be a wife and a mother, to be an entrepreneur, to be whatever. And it's like we're supposed to just take that ideology or that way of looking at things and accept it and then go with it, whether that's right for us or it isn't, right? And I love this idea, and even just the name, There's Another Way, like just being able to broaden your perspective and go like, actually there's a lot of ways to show up here, and there are ways that are perhaps more beneficial than the one we've just been given. And so I love that. I just think that's so beautiful, and it's a voice that's so needed. And I love that you're doing that.
Well, I love just even saying there's another way brings hope. Because can you
Yeah.
imagine if you're in a career and you hate it and you're stifled and you're not inspired, that, oh, you know what, there is another way. That you can just go, what? There is? I didn't know there was. Like if somebody would have told me, I would have been like,
Yeah.
really? There's another way? I didn't know there was another. Because as you touched on it, and as we've learned this whole 2021 year, is that beliefs that we've been taught in our lives have not necessarily ones that we want to choose to continue to believe. And so I have looked at so many things, but my belief was all about my parents, my nice, lovely Saskatchewan farmer parents, was you go get a job and you work for there till you're 25, 30 years up, and you just be grateful you have an income. And so I kind of was like, oh, I just get a job and I do that as a smart, good prairie girl that I am. And but when I had my baby at 40, well, I guess 41, oh, 10 years, she's 10 years now. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And we as women go through that shift as well, and having that ability of changing into my life being such a change, and my new role being mom, that shifted so many things for me. So my decisions, what worked when I'm in my 20s and 30s, didn't work for me in my 40 and my 50s.
Yeah, I love that, and it's so interesting. I was listening to a speaker once, and he said, there are two catalysts for change: great love and great suffering. And it's neat that you say, like, once I had my baby, right? Like, once I all of a sudden was like looking at this child, going, "Is this the life that I want? And how do I show up best to love this child?" That all of a sudden you were inspired to change, just to say there's another way, right? So I love that. That's so beautiful.
It was, and then
Just
when I started to learn, and one of the things we wanted to talk about today was about just being a conscious consumer, was when you have that little baby in your hands and you learn about all the things like what they know about ingredients now in products. I thought, I cannot put this on my child, right? I have to
oh,
choose as much, because now I can't unknow what I know.
yeah.
So I don't know if you know about like Vaseline. Like my babies were potty trained for a long time because they stayed at home with me, which was a gift. So I had a change station in every room of the house, but I also had a jar of Vaseline in every single room of the house. And when I learned about when I learned about our own products and our philosophy and a lot of things with eliminating cancerous or harmful ingredients. Vaseline is petroleum, which is the basis of the gasoline industry, right? It's something they pull out of the ground, and they market mineral oil and Vaseline and all that. They're such smart business
Wow.
people, but that is a cancerous ingredient, and that it's actually in a lot of products. And I was like, I was putting that on my baby's bum, and I was like, I
Yeah.
can't do this anymore. So I had to be more conscious about what am I bringing into my house, and that's how it all snowballed.
Wow, that's incredible. And I love just even those words, a conscious consumer, right? Because I have definitely been at that place in my life where I am just blindly taking something off the shelf and putting it into my cart, right? Like, oh, this says it does this. So, okay, great, whatever. And I'm not reading what's happening in the back, like what's actually in there and what's actually being placed in my home, on the sofas that we sit, and in the clothes that we wear, and in the things that we put on our body, right? And so I love this idea of waking up and going, actually, I care, and saying what's in this bottle matters. So I'm curious for you, once you decided that, what was your next step? Like, how did you go from, okay, I care, to going, okay, now what? What was the next step for you?
Well, and this is the thing where I think I love that you asked me this question, because so many people get overwhelmed. Like, think, oh my God, where do I start? How do I do this? And then it gets too big, and then we're like, it's just easier to shop without thinking. Right.
Yeah.
So, luckily, because I learned and was trained about Arbonne's ingredients and Arbonne's philosophy, that at least I knew that if I switched everything that I was using, that something to something that Arbonne had, I knew right away I was making better choices. Right. So that to
Mm,
me was just the easy step. So as I, even like when I started my business, I had other skin cream and things that I was using that I just bled through those, and then I just started to replace. So my first thing is find a supplier, find a company and learn about a company. And if you like that company,
mm,
would be the first, and pick one ingredient. Just start with one product. I say start with toothpaste, right? If you want a
yeah.
toothpaste that doesn't have any fluoride in it, because we have lots of things are fluorinated, that you just want a non-fluoride toothpaste, start with toothpaste and then great. Okay, what am I using next? Oh, I use a lot of makeup. Okay, well, how can I pick things? And then you start to learn, because there's things that you have to look at when you're looking at a company is how do they harvest their ingredients? And if we just keep this to skincare or body care, you got to look at how do they source and harvest their ingredients? Because we're in a consumer world, right? And what we do is we just go hack down. That's why palm oil, which is in so many ingredients, the plants are actually in danger of being like the palm oil um, field or forest or whatever you call it has been actually cut back so far that actually we don't have enough to supply. So what happens is that then the price goes up and then there's nothing to bring back that ingredient, because there's nothing wrong with that ingredient, but it's been so how it was sourced. So with our bun, as an example, is if we pick something out of the ground, we plant two back. So we worked with sustainable harvesters that they're replenishing what we're taking so that it's there for the next time, and that the earth is there to reheal and to grow and to have nutrients in it to draws down and reduces carbon and all that stuff, right? So you have to look at how do they source their ingredients, and then you have to look at how do they package. So for example, with Arbonne, we just we went to, in most of our lines, we have no brand new plastic in the world. So now Arbonne only uses recycled plastic. So we're not creating any new plastic into the world, but we switched in our anti-age well line from plastic to glass. It reduced 125,000 pounds of plastic in 1 year.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
with this.
That's incredible.
Isn't that incredible? So, because here's the thing, is what happens to that plastic, not everybody recycles, and don't get me started on that. We're going to talk about that next, another talk. But if you would recycle that plastic, no harm, no foul. But what happens is some products and some ingredients can't actually be recycled. So like glass jars, glass lids can, but sometimes there's the pump and those kind of things. Well, Arbonne said, by 2030, we're going to be 100% recyclable product and packaging, which means there should nothing be going in the landfill. Well, right now we do have some ingredients that can't be recycled. So what Arbonne created, this is called our recycling pack. We have partnered with a company called Tetracycle. So anything that can't be recycled can be shipped back for free by UPS. You put it in a bag like this, and that goes to be the Tetracycle that will be put into park benches and playground padding and materials, so it doesn't hit the land.
That's incredible.
So do you see
that's
how
absolutely incredible.
so you pick one thing, and if you recycle that or you handle it, then you have no footprint. Your product and use has no footprint on the planet.
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting and what I'm really picking up from what you're saying, and I think that this is important because I think this is the mindset shift behind everything, right? Because in order to pick different products, you want to have that mindset shift. And it's like the idea that you are in relationship with the company that you're purchasing from. It is not some identity out there that you have, no connection with, but actually you are in intimate relationship with it. And so if whatever it's doing, whatever its impact in the world is, you are literally impacting that, right? Like, so every time you make a purchase, you are impacting the company, which then impacts the world. And so to go, who am I in relationship with? Like if I am going to, let's just say, a local big box store, do I want to be in relationship with that? Like, is that the best place for me to be in relationship? And like, because if you would have a friend and your friend was doing terrible things in the world, right? And you would start questioning that friendship. You would start going, wow, I have a friend who hurts people. I have a friend who lies. I have a friend who hides facts. I have a friend, who when she invites us to dinner, she doesn't give everyone equal amounts of food, but only favors gives food to some people. Like, just thinking about what some of the big box stores are doing, right? And if we had that friend, what would we say? We would very quickly go, I don't want to be in relationship. I don't want to be in relationship.
And I love that you use the word intimate, because here's the thing, when money can't, you're giving your hard earned money. And when you give that money to a company and you go, keep doing what you're doing, that's basically what you're saying. And you're doing it with one of the things that you've worked hard to do. So if you give your money to keep continuing to a company, some of that now thou shall not be made, like Amazon, who, buddy, you made billions. And what are you giving back? So I know now he started he's doing some things, but okay, great, because the people have demanded it. But You give your money to a company, you enforce them, and it's like a vote. And they say,
Totally.
do what you're doing. So my challenge to a lot of people would be, look at your visa statement the last 2 months. And if you looked at your visa statement and you looked at some of the companies that you were purchasing from, would you go, oh, I found this out about this company, I found this out. And you would just know, like, do I want to continue to do that? Because the beauty of consumerism is there's choice. There's so much abundance in skincare. There's like 900. So you have to really be smart that if you really want to make a change to whether the planet or to a change to either toxicity in your body, you find your passion and then go find the product line that works for you.
Yeah, totally, 100%, 100%. And what I love there is how empowering that is. That's an empowering thought, right? That when I put my money down, it's a vote for something. Because sometimes what we can do as consumers is we can go, well, there's nothing we can do, like it's just going to be what it's going to be. And you're at the whim of the market, or you're at the whim of Amazon. Like there's nothing you can do to change it. And it's like, no, no, no. Actually, when you look at your money and, like you said, your visa statement, and you see it as a vote every single time, you go, oh, I'm actually very powerful. And
Right.
if I stop, right, that affects them. And if I can encourage other people, like what you're doing, encouraging other people to go think about it, right, then we gain force, and it's world's changing is what it is.
Because just think, what if everybody picked a skincare that had glass jars?
Yeah.
How many people use a skincare line? Just like bazillion, and everybody used a skincare product that had glass that could be recycled. Think about the amount of plastic and that companies would have to be changed because the demand changed.
Yeah.
Just think about
I
the
love that.
effect of what would be made for the planet. And honey, not for you and I, but for my kids. And that's really what I do is that I want this beautiful planet to be here in 7 generations away from me. And if we
Totally.
don't know, if we don't change things now, little behaviors, I'm talking your toothpaste, I'm talking your skincare, right? Little
Yeah.
changes you do. And then I can even tell you where you can make big changes from, like how that's changing our house to so many other things. And that makes a ripple effect. And you are powerful, and so you are important.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so what else can we look for when we're being a consumer? We're looking for, what are the ingredients? What is the packaging? What else can we look for as we go about our day?
Yeah, so we talk, and also the company, right? So I think the other thing is before you even start to look is like, what's important to you? That's another thing I think to look at as the 20 somethings now, you know what, they're like, what is your cause? Like I get that question a lot is, what's your cause? Like, what are you giving back to? And I'm like, oh, great question. Luckily Arbonne has a foundation
Wow.
that we help young teens and tweens and teenagers and empower them. And we have like helped, I think it's now up to 480,000 kids since 2012. But that's what we have. So some lines where you buy $1, they give $1 donation to that foundation. So they want to know a cause. So, but it
Yeah.
starts with being conscious as a consumer to say, what is important to me? And pick one thing and go for it. That would be the other thing. So be it
Mm.
packaging, ingredients, company, and then what is your passion and what's important to you? And then align your shopping behaviors to that.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's just absolutely beautiful. So if I could ask you one last question, I would love to know, what is the biggest difference that you have experienced being a conscious consumer? Like what's one thing that you go, I'm night and day different because of this, or this is the one thing that's changed the most in our family, or what can we expect? What beautiful thing can we expect? Or what happened to you?
Well, I'm going to recommend everybody watch a documentary called Kiss the Ground. It's on
Mm,
Netflix. If you haven't watched Kiss the Ground, watch Kiss the Ground. And because one of the things is about the amount of waste that comes out of a household. So because of learning what I have with Arbonne, because my husband was a grade 8 science teacher and talked about recycling, the amount of proportion of our garbage for a 2-week period of a family of 4 and our amount of recycling is like 4 times more recycling than what is in our garbage. So a 2-week garbage is so small that we're actually throwing away less waste. That's the biggest impact about being a conscious
yeah.
consumer is our recyclables are 4 times larger than our garbage.
I love that.
Right. And
But,
so if
you
we
know,
all
yeah.
reduced our weight, so San Francisco actually put in a taxation, and I would like to pose this to Coquitlam, I might get on that, is that you pay less taxes by less garbage you throw out. So San
That's
Francisco
fabulous.
totally transformed how people recycle because they put they paid it money where you put your money where your pocket and where it hurts the most. So the less garbage you had, the less taxes you paid.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a motivator. For sure, that's a motivator. I
So
love
what I
that.
would say is look at your garbage. Don't do anything. Look at your garbage, take a picture. And then in the coming weeks, think about every piece. Oh, can I recycle this? If I can't, what can I do with it? Right? What's my options? And then see if you make a shift in your garbage, because even just buying things, everything comes in so much part packages, right? Just what can be recycled.
Totally. Well, you know what? It's funny because this is actually a running joke in our family, and I'm sure it's a running joke in many families. But when you order something from the internet, from when you order something from Amazon, I do never understand why I ordered one package, but it needs to come in like 5 different boxes. You know, like if I ordered, 4 books, it comes in 4 boxes. I'm like, "Why is it doing this?" And we've talked about it in our family so often, going like, "This is such a waste. It's such a waste," you know? So I love just looking at that and not just saying that's such a waste, but then going, "Therefore, I will do it differently." Right?
Right.
Which is what you're calling us to.
So there's no stopping you from emailing that company and saying, taking a picture of the packaging and saying, if you truly stand behind your philosophy, because usually everybody has their mission statement or their philosophy about the environment now on their website. If your mission,
Yes.
would you really ship things like this?
Yeah.
And
I like
email
that
the
too.
company back, and they're going to go,
Yeah.
thank you very much for reminding us,
Yeah.
because there could be just a slip in the chain that they're going, oh yeah, we need to work on that, or it's coming, or
Yeah.
something, right? But that's our
Yeah.
voice. That's the voice part. So yeah, because even sometimes something was shipped to me and I'm like, really? Seriously? This is what they're shipping?
Yeah.
Here's the picture. Do you want
Yeah.
to be shipping this? And we have a voice, use it.
Totally. I love that. Super empowering. And that's the thing about you, Terry, that the fact that you empower us, you make us feel like, oh yeah, there's totally things that we can do and they totally make a difference. I love that. So tell me, do you have something coming up in the next little while? Like now you've totally got us into this way of thinking. We want to know more. Where can we learn more? What do you have going on that we can participate in?
So every month I do now the conscious consumer talk in my meetup, and you'll find it on Eventbrite. And this month is I'm just focusing on sunscreens right now because it's a hot topic, right? But there's so much to learn about sunscreens, because if I had a dollar for every time someone says, "Does everyone have a spray sunscreen?" I'm like, "No, we don't have a spray sunscreen." So
Mm,
it's like, and I'll tell you why. That I thought I'll do a little series on let's talk about sunscreens, and then so people can make powerful choices this summer that protect their skin, healthy and safe, but also protects the planet.
I love that. I love that. So people go to Meetup, go to Eventbrite,
Yeah.
look for your event and sign
It's
up
called
for that because that's
conscious consumer.
information we all need to know. Fantastic. And then what about you, Terry? We love you. How can people stay in contact with you? How do they find you if they're looking for you to be able to
Connect
connect?
with. Yeah. So on Instagram, I have my handles is there's another way one on Instagram, and then and Facebook, there's my name Terry Besworth, or there's also my Facebook business page. You can message me anywhere. Yeah, you'll find me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being a voice in this area. And I think if there's anything that we've learned in the last little while with all the craziness that this world has gone through is that we need to wake up to what we're doing. We need to wake up to the choices that we're making. We need to wake up to how our behavior affects other people, and for you to be a voice in that arena showing us the way is just massively important, and we so appreciate you. So thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love chatting with you, and you're doing important work.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Absolutely.
pick one thing, just pick one thing and make a change. And I'm here to help. So I offer a free consultation too. Like if you want to say, Terry, where do I start? And then I offer a series of questions. We can go through it and you can pick, and I'll show you what else has changed in our lives. So I'd be happy to. So just reach out to me, and you can definitely get me at Terry at there'sanotherway.com or .ca. Sorry.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you for listening, everyone. We will see you next week again when we do a Fearless Friday one more time. And thank you again for listening. We will see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye.